recording with your consent. I'm assuming everyone's consent. If anybody has objection to recording, please let me know. Okay. Who is still to admit? Purva. Okay, so back on our, so there was some error. Check your internet connection and try again. Can't upload. I think it's because my battery went dead. Let me try again. So this is the important part that is happening here. So ideally this will be some Word document. So let me look for some good Word document. Is there any? Individual order case. Attachments. Okay. Change of address. That we can probably. Okay, there is one docx. Okay, so it's pretty fast. So it is done. So we can see it here. So eventually we'll give a better UI there. So right now we were where? Where were we? So all these documents are uploaded. The final stage, let's say we uploaded all of them. I can't click this.
Edit. You have to edit that.
Oh, I'm not in edit.
Edit. No.
So let's say I've completed all of them.
No,
Can
if
I?
you completed, then mail should go and approval process will start.
Yeah,
Then you have to.
but so if I don't click all of these, I can't go to the next stage, right? I just say let's.
No, means you have to do one
We can't save this
approval.
record because process failed. So it's kicking off the approval process. Okay, so I have to basically complete all these document uploads, then come here. Especially this signed agreement is the most important one. So they do all this and then they save. Now what? No applicable process, approval process was found. No applicable approval process.
Don't know why that error has come.
Some field needs to be completed.
No. I'll check that later, approval part.
But anyway, so you basically.
It should not fail.
So it will go to, let's say, if I try to mark this complete, will it?
Yes.
Then also it will do the conversion, right?
Right.
So this
If
is
approval
the standard.
If approval is pending, then you can't convert the lead.
So even this will fail, right?
Yes.
So all these documents get approved by respective authority. Only then you can convert. That conversion is again standard part of CRM process. So everybody should get familiar with the CRM process. These are standard steps. I mean, the phases can be configured, but what is lead progression, and then lead conversion, which basically results in these three object record creations: account, contact, and opportunity. So we do all that and push this. Now this is like final deal. And keep in mind, the same program can undergo through different such leads to complete its entire budgeting requirement. So same program may be shown to some other company, some other CSR representative from Vanarai may be handling it. So eventually this program gets completely funded, etc. And then even if it is partially funded, the execution starts. So that's the end of the phase two, which is our acquisition. So we have acquired a funding partner. We have done all the legal documentation, formalities are complete. And now we are ready to push this next to the opportunity stage where we'll start planning the execution. So this, I think this much knowledge should be good enough for you to understand pre-acquisition process. So this is what I wanted to cover. Let me try convert. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it succeeded. Okay. So now I can go to lead or opportunity is something which I would like to, because this is where we now progress into execution phase pretty much. So here also you can see we have different stages. So initial, some key attributes. The kickstart is basically, there is a kind of a process. So where basically kickstart is what, let's look at the key attributes. So they now, so whatever that final document was prepared, that gets uploaded now as a first thing. Then the budget sheet, which I showed you, that activities and each individual activity is defined. So it is budgeted activity wise. So that is also uploaded. Then there is a grant letter format to be sent. So this is an important step, they stress, where although everything is signed and documented, the money has not yet come. So that's the main thing which is still pending. So they send a grant request letter. So this is a grant. So this is not a loan, or Vanarai is not supposed to refund it back. So it's a grant. So that request letter needs to go. So these are some important things that should happen. And once that happens, then the accounting team starts working on it, whereby if there is no account created for this company in Vanarai's bank, so each funding partner company will have to have an individual separate account. So there is no one standard Vanarai account where all companies start pushing their funds. So this is again from compliance perspective. It's easier for Vanarai also to track certain project, its budget, how much is spent, how much is remaining, all that tracking which is required in execution phase is easy with that. So all that stuff. So I'm not going to go through all the details, but probably you'll see similar UI, that all the checkboxes for certain actions or file uploads, etc. So most of these are actions. So have you done this? Have you done this? Some of these were objected by the accounts team. Last time we gave a demo, so we are still waiting on how many of these. So they were really kind of little mad about take color prints. So are you going to ask us to check this? Have we taken this color print? Have we put some markers in the file? Are you going to do that kind of micromanagement? So they were kind of aggressive on that. So we are still waiting on it. So all these, then there are so these are file uploads again. So these are specific file uploads. Inside we saw all the checkboxes and generic file uploads. So here you see file upload boxes specific to specific file. Like all these first stage checkboxes I think you have automated that, right? So let's try that.
Mm,
So if I, hmm?
yes, so this UI is different, but in the account and finance, I have added new for that file.
And let's see now that these key fields are not checked. So let me
Mm,
see
no,
MOU.
that not configured.
Okay, we
Yes.
should, right, eventually.
Hmm. This is day one, right? So I have created on that account and finance, means
Oh,
in
okay.
the VNR account.
Okay, so it is there somewhere. That's fine.
Yeah. Hmm.
So there is some other sandbox org where she has done that. So as I said, there is complete ecosystem for development environment. So let's try that. So later on, we have basically what we have done is if you upload certain file, it's so now that this is uploaded, automatically its checkbox will be clicked. Right now, it's not in this box, but in the other box, it is there. So and so it goes through all these stages, and then basically a lot of things happen here which you need not know. But basically, eventually day-to-day work starts. So they started digging. So how much digging is done every day? All that report comes back to Salesforce. Accordingly, the payment start. So all that actual execution start. Imagine some building getting constructed in front of your house. So all the progress, it's distribution of whatever funds you have got, it starts getting spent. The funding agency also will be able to get to look inside as to how much was spent, for what purpose it was spent. All these details will be easily accessible to the funding partner instead of they calling Vanarai, hey, what happened to our funding? What stage we are? At midnight also they can log in here or come to some page and see what's the status. So all these digital transformation benefits we are giving them. The one thing I would like you to know is the creation of these activities. So once we decide the program and then once once everything gets starts to the execution stage, one interesting thing we do is out of that program we create uh, all these activities because they are all anyway listed in that document, right? So we create activities and so maybe I can show you. So we create a list of activities that will be executed in this actual program. We call it program instance. The program was just a master. Now it has now come into a real shape that, okay, Ahmednagar so and so taluka funded by so and so company. This program will start January 28th or whatever. So all that is going to start happening. Hello. So So that is, you'll see all these thematic areas, you got some information about it. Funding partners, the companies. So we'll create an account record for each of these funding partners. So Crompton was the case we saw. That was an actual case, by the way. Then base activities is basically list of activities depending on thematic areas. So each program will have specific thematic areas which will have specific activities. All these are hardwired, but when you create a program instance, we'll create an instance of these base activities, assign some nomenclature, coding convention. Each of that activity instance will also have some code, and then we'll start as the day progresses. We'll start uh, basically addressing the progress of each such activity, which becomes the daily status reports based on which we make the payments and uh, mark the completion or progress of the project, which can be shared with the client, the government, funding agency, or whoever. And eventually everything is public because this is a social organization. You can even go to the Vanarai website and quickly take a look at their earlier work, some of these projects done, etc. But what I wanted to show was this is that WIP, which is basically instance of this base activity. So we named it work in progress WIP. There was WIPs also, right?
Yes. In WIPs, you can see that activity.
Yeah, so there is, yeah. So this is a look at, so these are all auto-generated. The moment the program instance is created. So when is the program instance created? It is created once the budgeting is confirmed. So once we convert from lead to opportunity, pretty much at that time, on creation of a new opportunity, these codes are generated for that specific project, which is part of that opportunity. So you can see this is, so the naming convention, you can make a note that actually gives you some information that this was a project funded by Crompton. This was in the area of Pimpri or something for year 2023. Something is null. And then this is the base activities specific code, which is 87 is basically a specific instance code. VN is the base activity code. So all that, no, sorry, VN00087 is basically the activity code created out of. So if you look at another code, that BM is basically base activity acronym. And this is the instance name of that base activity. All that is getting generated. So this is something interesting that we did programmatically. So all this is because the program is bunch of subprograms, which are bunch of thematic areas, which are collection of base activities. So all that linkage you can keep in mind. So this is what basically eventually plays key role in the execution phase. So that basically introduces you to most of the main objects involved. The rest you can cover later, need basis. So we have covered pretty much what I wanted you to know about Vanarai project, and then we'll start talking about what is required in this pre-acquisition phase. What kind of, so it's kind of pretty simple. They basically upload different documents as they go ahead in the process. But essentially, they go to a village, they talk to Gram Panchayat, they talk to that Sarpanch, they talk to people, they collect. Gram Panchayat, interestingly, we came to know actually has a lot of good information, like how much was the rainfall, how many tankers are visiting the villages. All that data is available. So they collect all these documents, all that data in this pre-acquisition phase. They might even do some geological survey. They might collect survey documents. So all those steps that I showed, these were such documents. And that's what we'll start creating this project, which will be a good experience for you from Salesforce point of view. So that's all I had to say. I can stop talking. Open forum. Kirti, you want to add something? Aishwarya, you want to add something? Or any questions? So this is kind of real serious business, serious project. We keep visiting their office once in 2 weeks. Usually we have some gaps also. So before last year and now there is kind of a big gap already. So they were asking us to come yesterday. We denied. They wanted to see something in the execution phase. So time for quiz, maybe then, if no questions. Aishwarya, Kirti, you can ask quiz questions.
No, I don't have any question.
Our first question was, tell the 4 different phases of the project, pre-acquisition.
No, my first question is Vidya and Shruti. The new joinee, right? I don't know about them.
So you can, that's good question.
Uh,
Introduce yourself, maybe turn the video on as per the dictate if you want.
no, I don't want to turn on the video, but they can introduce.
Okay, so go ahead. Who wants to go first?
So you can stop recording now.
Oh yeah. Okay. So where is my meeting? I'm searching for the meeting. Okay, that's the built. Stop recording. Thank you everyone for listening patiently for my blah blah. Thank you, sir. I mean, I'm just stopping the recording.